Hey, wildlings. I wanted to come into the shedding today and talk a little bit more about working with your body and why it's so important. If you haven't noticed yet in this, like, how long have we been doing this now? We're on the 10th. It's like a month and a half. You've been tuning into your body. You have been asking, why am I stiff here? You've been like, oh, I've noticed it's always my shoulders, or I've noticed it's always my hips, or I've noticed that, like, it's my biceps that are really bothering me, or, a particular movement. What is your body trying to tell you? This is where it gets really interesting. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining this morning. When we start to look at where our body is being impacted by the pain, and then we start to think about what that point in our body does, whether it's our hips, whether it's our shoulders, whether it's our knees, these are all supportive points in our body, and every single one of these points has a correlating emotion. And whether you want to believe in the science of this or the magic of this, it doesn't matter. I'm here for both. I'll explain both. But there is a true belief in both the science and the magical world that all of these points are connected to trauma, are connected to emotions. And when we start to listen to our bodies and understand it, we will see the correlation to our emotional body. So, if you haven't been able to sit still to do a body scan, or if you haven't been able to talk to your body or even listen or find a consistency, what is that saying about your journey? So everybody that's on here now, are we seeing similar things come up? When you're doing the body scan, is it always going to the same place? And have you looked in the course content to that list of emotional connections? I think I used the Louise Hay list of points in our body, but our knees can be financial support. Our shoulders can be feeling the weight of the world, or the weight of the pressure of work, or the weight of the pressure of your family. Your ankles can, are you stable? Are you secure? Are you safe? My hips have always been an issue for me, always. And one of my major blocks is actually getting my creations out into the world in a way that makes sense. And my hips, it's all about birthing things, it's all about creating. So, where in your body is your body giving you messages? Where is your body holding on to emotions? And then how can we actually start to work with that and shift through it? So, one of the things that I have been feeling a lot lately, and it's just because of the way my brain works, is I'm feeling the pressure to produce, the pressure to fix, to solve, to be the answer for a lot of people. And that is just how I take on that responsibility. Nobody has put that on me, but my brain has taken on the responsibility to have to solve a lot of issues for all of my family, for all of my, all of this stuff. That's what my brain wants to do. How can I solve that when my body is literally making me do this and I'm feeling the weight of it? And when I sleep at night, my right shoulder, which is, the masculine, which is on your right, the feminine is on your left. Feminine is about giving, masculine is about receiving. So, like, why am I having trouble receiving help when I'm fine with giving it? but I'm struggling with receiving it. And I'm receiving help left, right, and center. Like, my brain yesterday was totally in the Tism Pinter and it could not get out. And like I even said on the video, and I even said to my son, I'm not going to make good decisions today, so we just have to go straight home. And you just have to be aware that that's what's going to happen. I knew if I went out after taking my kid, picking my kid up, we'd probably buy a whole bunch of stuff because my brain was in, I needed dopamine, right? I knew. So I had to come back and work out to get that dopamine high. So I'm going to show you some things that you can do to move some of these things around. Now, not all of these things are going to be accessible for everybody. Not all of these things are going to work for everybody, but some of them work for me. So one of the major things that I use is yoga nidra and kundalini and just yoga poses in general. I've probably been doing yoga for the past 20 years. It's not something I've ever wanted to teach or I've ever been interested in, like having a solid yoga practice every day, but I use the movements that work for me. I pick and choose from each of those things and I go, yeah, this one totally works for me. A lot of my stuff is in my shoulders. So a lot of my workout has to do with my shoulders and releasing my shoulder work. My legs are good, man. And my arms are insane. My arms could lift forever. Like I don't know if you guys saw the winner of the powerlifting the other day, but this woman won and she made the men look like they were babies. She's like holding this thing just like do, 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 this is no big deal. And the guys are like shaking and their hands are, and she's just like, do, do, do. That's me. When it comes to lifting weights for me are nothing. Find your thing. If yoga is your thing, embrace yoga. If weightlifting is your thing, embrace weightlifting. If walking is your thing, embrace walking. You have to find your thing. I have looked through all of the things and I found the pieces that work for me. And that's really what you have to do because there is no one thing that is a complete and utter fit. So like over all of these years, I've been collecting pieces of workouts that work for me because that's the way my brain works. I really have no interest in things that don't work for me. And that's, hey, Lauren, that's how most of this stuff works, especially if you're a divergent thinker. If it doesn't work for you, it's not going to stick. So don't worry about the things that don't stick. It's okay to let them go. It's not going to work for you because your brain didn't go ding, 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 ding. If you're divergent, your brain will literally just glam onto the things that are good for you and it will cast aside the things that are bad for you. And it will do it really quickly. So believe it. This is my thing. You have to start believing your brains. Start believing your brains and start believing your body. Through these body scans, through this asking your body what it's doing and what it needs, you're learning how to communicate with your body. And it is really important because I will tell you, if you are a divergent thinker, and even if you're not, society tells us to ignore our bodies. We are trained to get up at a certain time, to go to work at a certain time, we're trained through school. Not everybody's bodies work that way. My body does not live on a normal schedule. It never has. That's a-okay. And that's what you have to get used to. Don't mind me, but I have to have my smoothies before they get to a certain temperature, or that's it, I can't have it. So I'm going to guzzle a little bit more of this. I put a video on Instagram this morning about the smoothies I make. and I will like post a recipe. But oh my God, people, start to listen to your body, because as soon as I started giving it exactly what it needed, it got incredibly happy. And the only way you can do that is to listen to it. So when we're doing these body scans, we're pretty much asking our body, where am I trapping my emotions? So, like I said, one of the main ones for me is my hips, and another one is my shoulders. So I'm just trying, look, we'll put it over here because I think you've got better view. So let's move these weights. And I will put this here. Now, if you don't have bolsters, and I'll tell you, yeah, it looks like I have this amazing gym in my home, but I have collected this stuff for years. Hey, Amy. I actually got these from Candace Hawkshaw probably 6 years ago. I have a whole bunch of them. I just remember when she was selling them, I was like, oh my God, I need those. I had no idea why. Now I know. So sometimes I just listen to the impulses. So if you do not have bolsters like this and you want to do this exercise, use what you have. Use towels, use pillows, use whatever you can do. Like roll up a yoga mat and tie it up so you can create this kind of feeling. You can do it with anything. Like I could have just used regular pillows, but I have the stuff, so I'll use it. But this right here is how I stretch out my shoulders a lot. And you can do this for as little or as long as you want. And I really like hanging off the end. Some people just like doing it here and it opens up your shoulders. It's just because your arms are getting to hang lower than your shoulders, because we're usually here or we're usually in here. You need to get it past the stretch. So here I'm kind of starting to feel it. And when I say feel it, it actually just feels a little sore. So if it feels really sore, you gotta stop. This is where listening to your body is really important. It's why we're learning to listen to our bodies. Because when you learn how to listen to your body, you can actually then listen to your body in real life situations. And then you can start to understand if you should be in fight or flight or not. So, relaxing your body. This is, and I'm going to take these off for a second because I really like to overextend. Now, if you are hypermobile, like most divergent people, you have to be very careful doing this, because we can actually, it's called sublimation, or we can actually dislocate. And I have been known to dislocate my shoulders. So I know how far I can push this. And that is what you have to learn how to do. You have to learn the limits of your body, because our divergent body's limits are extreme. We can push it to the extreme. So hang on. And I will always go to the extreme because it feels good and it's gonna crack and oh, there it goes. Because I've listened to my body for my whole entire life, and you can hold those. So one of the things is sometimes I just come down here and I just do this while I'm listening to a podcast. If I've slept all night and I didn't have my support pillow, because if you're hyper mobile, you will know about a support pillow. And I just stay here and oh, my sinuses just opened up because it put pressure right here and it stretched it back. So this will actually, if you are tight in this area, now let me do this again so you can hear me. if you were tight in this area, it'll actually open. Puppy pose in yoga is my nemesis. Yes, what's puppy pose? I don't know what puppy pose is. I will also, this is one where I will overextend, which is really bad. I do this one a lot, and I tend to put my head way too far, and I can actually not snap the muscle, but it's called sublimate. And it's like just before dislocation. And most of us, like down dog, but on, oh, okay, yeah. So that's like, okay, I get that one. Yes. You have to be really, really careful with our bodies, especially if you are hypermobile. So if you don't know about hypermobility, it is one of the things that hurts us a lot. And I'm gonna, here, I'll actually show you on my body what we do. As a divergent person, you will probably push, we never have soft knees. We push our knees back and our bodies go like this. So our knees go back and our butts go like this and they go underneath. We have to learn how to push our butts in. Like it's literally, you have to go back and up. And I will tell you, we actually don't know how to use our diaphragm at all. I didn't know how to do that. And then as soon as I learned how to do this and hold my body back and learned how to breathe from here, like I'm breathing from here instead of up here. So see how that pulls in and up, and here is low. This is in and up, and this is low. This is where we're supposed to be. This is where we are. That little move makes so much of a difference. I immediately was like, wait a second, this is a whole different muscle right here. And that's, I know, look at my stripes. But that's how I started getting this, because I'm literally like, before I was like this, and now my muscles are like holding all this in place. So literally learn how to stand. Don't do this, do this. Don't do this. Don't curl your bum under, pull it up. Your hips have to come up like this. That little stretch, it's not even a stretch. It's just the way you're supposed to stand as a human being. But divergent bodies don't let us do it, because that muscle that runs all the way, and it comes down here, and it comes in here, and it goes down here, is where we hold all of our trauma. It's called the psoas muscle. And that psoas muscle goes all the way from the back of your head and it runs down your neck, and it's a part of our entire body. It goes through your hips. And when you learn how to massage it and massage the pain down your body, you can release it and let it go. So, yeah, the most useful poses in yoga are the supportive ones. The most useful poses in yoga, I will tell you, are the balance ones. Like, I used to not be able to, I'm not going to be able to do it today because I'm not very balanced, but I used to not be able to do this at all. And it seems like a real, okay, I'm not going to be, know when your balance days and your not balance days are, and be okay with it. Because when the TISM is super fucking hard, I can't balance, and it's okay. So this is the other piece. Once you, and all my joints are cracking, once you realize that our bodies don't work the same way as the neurotypicals, and you actually start working out in a way that is divergent, because I will also tell you, one of the things that I do is just be totally random. And if you have ever worked out and you loved working out and you are divergent, how much, hey Jermaine, how many of us like what's it called when you do a circuit training? I hated going to the gym and doing the same thing. Like I would never just go and do cardio or do weights or do what I've got to do it all. And I've got to actually enjoy it. So I don't often do leg stuff. I mean, my legs are pretty tight anyway. I do want to make my butt, but like squats, seriously, people. Watch this. If you want these muscles to be nice and tight, literally get a chair, knee width apart, and just do this. Just until your butt hits it, and then stand back up. And your butt hits it, and stand back up. And your butt hits it, and stand back up. It's really this fucking easy, people. Why do people make going to the gym look really fucking hard? Because it's not. Just sit down and stand back up. Oh my God, look, you're doing a squat. And it's perfect because this is exactly what you're supposed to do in a squat. But nobody knows that this is what you're supposed to do because they want it to be complicated. Just sit back down and stand back up. Working out is that easy. And literally, I want you to do 10 of those. That is it. Or do it until you're just a little bit breathless. You don't have to do it for a long time. So then, like, I'm trying to think, what else can we do? They're super fucking simple. Learn what your body likes. Like this one, my body hates because of my shoulders, but I force myself to do like 10 or 15 of them every day because it's the opposite of what my body is doing. It's stretching it in the opposite direction. It's why I like these weights because I can do so much. I feel like I'm in the 80s. So much. So, what does your body need? What feels good? What do you like? There's seriously so many things you can do that are good for your body that take like no time whatsoever. And while I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm doing a little bit of a workout and my body's feeling better. Oh, that's so good. Oh my God. And just even sometimes, it's just to hear your body go, oh. Because if you're neurodivergent and your body is tight, it's because you are hypermobile and your body is clenching to keep your bones in the correct place, to keep your joints in the correct place. So it's doing this all the time. So we need to relax it. And what you need to do to relax it is stretch those muscles in the opposite direction of this. You want to open everything. Opening exercise. It's why this one is one of my favorite Kundalini moves, and I could do it for like, I don't know, 10 hours. It's the ego eliminator. I don't do the breath of fire. I will tell you the breathing in Kundalini and any breath work kind of fucking freaks me out because I'm already there. I don't need super crazy breathing to get me to another level. And I will tell you, if you do any research into Kundalini, the breath work is a bit weird. Anywho, I love it all. There are pieces I can and can't do. And I will tell you, because I have a deviated septum, I can't really do any breath work. And that's okay. And I honestly think it's my body keeping me away from breath work. Because if I do breath work, I'll be on another stratosphere. Like, it's not even like So I do the things. So in Kundalini, another heart opening, which I have to do all the time, surprisingly. My heart is pretty closed all the time because I've tried to protect myself my whole entire life. So I do, it's actually, I think it's like you go boop, 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 boop. And I make the noises in my head. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself happy. I like singing while yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is do what works for you. If the breathing, like I will tell you, I can't do the breathing that most weight trainers do. Like you're supposed to, and I know I shouldn't have done that. You don't need to tell me. I'm horrible at being safe when I lift weights. So anywho, they will always tell you to breathe out, but I need to, what's the one? No, you're supposed to breathe out when you, this is the other thing. I don't remember. So how I have worked out for like 40 years, pretty much. And I can't tell you which way I'm supposed to breathe. I just do what works for me, because my deviated septum makes it very hard for me to do things the way my brain wants it to be done. So I just breathe the way I want to breathe, and I don't feel bad about it, because that's the other thing. I feel like a lot of workout videos make me feel bad. So let's not make people feel bad. It's like, I don't ever do anything in sets. I don't ever do anything the way I'm supposed to do it. It's just not going to work for me. Let your workout be divergent. Let the way you do your body be divergent. Now, if you're wondering, Emma, I don't have a ton of money, but I still want to do a workout, what's the best way to do that? So we've got these bands. These are, oh, soup cans are super awesome, but I think you can get this for 15 bucks, and you can get it at, I'm trying to think, I think Sports Check has them. I think pretty much any sports store, even Walmart. I was in there looking at their section the other day just to see what they had, so what I could recommend. They actually have some pretty decent weights, I noticed the other day. So if you are looking, I love these ones just because of the way they're designed. But these you can use as weights. If you just want something to push against, because I will tell you, oh yeah, and Facebook Marketplace too. Also, guys, if you want to get rid of some of your stuff, and there are people on here looking for workout equipment, like, please do share. Like, that's so amazing. So if you're just starting out and you don't want to push your body too far, these are really great ways to start working out. So you can actually use a little bit of tension. And if this is too much still, you can just do this. You don't even have to have weights. I will tell you, the majority of my workouts in my entire life have been without weights. But I'm now at a point where my body wants more, so I'm adding weights. Before, I just did the moves. But these are so great because it goes from like a really, really light weight to like a medium weight to like, you have to try pretty hard. This one, yeah, like that's a good resistance. Yeah, and you can change, you can use your own body weight. This is the other great thing, is you don't have to have any of this. That's why I want to encourage people to just move. It doesn't even have, like, Kelsey and I have talked before about like watching kids yoga shows. There's one called Cosmic Kids, and they tell a story while you do the yoga.
If that's where you are, be there. Who gives a shit what it looks like? Who gives a shit? As long as it's making your body happy. That's what we are about in this program. It's not about being the best at, no, it's about what works for you and your body and where you are. So yeah, gravity adds resistance too. That's why I did end up getting a bench, because I'll show you. And you can use anything. You could use the couch or like anything, but I've gotten to this point. So what Kelsey was saying there is gravity adds resistance. So if I'm doing this here, it does add a lot of resistance because I'm having to pull it up further. I'm not just doing it from the ground. Here is a lot harder than here, right? So using all sorts of different things. Remember, we're problem solvers. Problem solve. The key is to convincing your brain that it's good for you. And I know that takes a long time. And one of my realizations, because so many people have said to me over the years, how did you start loving your body? How did you start appreciating it again? And honestly, it's when I started doing my strength training again and realizing that my body is really strong and it is really powerful, and it actually makes me feel really, really good to feel strong and powerful. And actually, now when I stand beside somebody, I stand with my shoulders back and I stand with my head held high, because that's another thing that all of this does for us. It brings you confidence, not just in your body, but in your mind. It moves the chemicals around in our brain that we need to have moved around. When we're not doing this work, that fight or flight energy just stays in here. We need to get that fight or flight energy out of our bodies. And proprioception, which is lifting, can be lifting heavy weights, is really, really, really good for us. So choose yourself. I finally realized that I was choosing this because I actually finally loved myself enough to be healthy. And that's honestly what it is. I finally just went, I deserve to be healthy. Why am I making myself sick by not doing this? Why am I making myself sick by not having my smoothies in the morning? Why would I do that? This week, I had a really big epiphany that when I don't pay attention to my things, I'm just hurting myself. Nobody else is doing this to me. Nobody else is making me cranky or making me test like all of those feelings. No, it's me, because I'm not doing my workouts, because I'm not drinking my water, because I'm not doing my smoothies in the morning. I'm hurting myself. So that's where the self-love comes from. You have to love your body. You have to love yourself to be able to say, I am worthy of the work that it takes to do these things. And if you can't convince yourself that you are worthy, how can you convince anybody else that they are worthy? How can you be a good cheerleader if you can't even cheerlead yourself? Like, that's why I think ultimately none of my stuff ever panned out, because I literally wasn't even cheering myself on. I was cheering everybody else on and then going, oh, well, I'll take care of myself later when I'm dead. That is the difference. I am choosing me first. Choose you first. Don't put everybody else first. Don't put everybody's wants, needs, desires first. Don't put everybody else's food, No, first and foremost, seriously. The reason why I went into my little autism place this week super, super hard is because I didn't smoke enough weed. When I don't smoke enough weed, my brain can't actually calm down enough to see what I need to do. It just goes. And it's like, oh my God, I gotta go. Slow down. Make yourself breakfast. Do your workout. Time blindness is my number one probably issue with my autism and my ADHD. Is an hour for me feels like 5 minutes. So when I'm spending time with you, I just have no idea how much time I've spent with you whatsoever. To me, it feels like 10 minutes, but it's probably been 10 hours. And especially when I'm around other people. So I get completely dysregulated when I'm around other people because I get pulled out of my own timeline. So frustrating. As soon as I started respecting my own time and respecting and understanding that I had no concept of it, it got way easier. So start looking at where your body is screaming at you. Start looking at where your brain may be making you choose things that maybe aren't good for you. What we're going to start talking about next is our boundaries and vices that we are maybe using in the wrong way, maybe using as a wall, maybe using as like a way to soothe ourselves. Our vices can be anything. So this was, when I first got my diagnosis, a complete and utter vice. And I just used it to numb out. And that's what I had to do in that moment. And I'm like, I still look back at that and go, well, there was no fucking way I was getting through it. It's not easy when you realize that your whole life has somewhat been a lie and that you have to go through and like just take stock of everything that you've done and rejig it. It's a lot. So we do tend to lean on those vices, and it can be very, very hard on our bodies, on our minds, and we tend to spiral. So start paying attention. It's why I wanted we've done a month and 5 days of just paying attention to your body. So if you haven't done that work yet, if you haven't showed up and listened to your body and done the work, I really want you to start digging in and asking yourself, if I haven't done the work, why haven't I done it? Like, what else is a priority right now? What else am I so focused on that I don't have value? That I don't have, you want to do it because you're here. You've shown up in this community. You say you want to do it, but why are you now not valuing yourself enough to actually sit down and do the work? That's a question you have to ask yourself. And I've asked myself so many times. So that's what we're going to get into next. Start paying attention to your body, giving it what it needs. And you are going to have to find that out yourself. Nobody can tell you. It's why we're doing the body scan. Your body talks to you in incredibly intimate ways all day, every day, and it is giving you messages. So once you start to learn how to tune into your body, your intuition is going to go through the roof. Your ability to sense things in the world is going to go through the roof. But this is the very first step. If you can't listen to your body, how can you listen to your intuition? Start here. Okay, wildlings, go be wild.